people. Like I have entry level people here that I need them, and I want them to graduate through the thing. But that job that they're doing needs to be done, and I have a lot of gratitude towards the job they are doing, and I'm happy to have them continue to grow. Uh, but I don't know. There's so much fame right now to this whole like not fame, but there's so much importance and there's so much razzle dazzle stuff on social media about being a CEO and everything like that. How it's supposed to be like super dope and everything, but I don't. Um, I, I think you could have. I think you could be really, really happy and not be a business owner. Actually, I think you have a much higher. Actually, I know. Actually, I don't know anything. The one thing I know is I don't know anything, but I'm pretty close to knowing that people are. You have more per capita, more people are happy as not owning a business than opposed to those that do own.
It's funny because the event that I was at last night was a personification of what you just described to a degree. And I'm standing in the lobby. It was in the city, New York City, and looking at the guest list, and everybody's CEO, COO, CEO, CMO, and I'm like, holy shit, this is some legit company. Am I out of my league here? And obviously, I thought that for a split second, then pushed that away. And rode the elevator up and walked into the room, and the seminar started, and I spoke to just a couple of people before it got going. And I'm thinking, gosh, there are a lot of young CEOs and COOs in here. Like, I know I'm in the city, but damn, there's a lot of younger people. Good on you for taking the time out of your evening to come better yourself. But shoot, what am I doing wrong? So
I don't think you're doing anything wrong.
No, the speaker says, all right, how many people here are CMOs? And one hand goes up. I'm like, wait a second. I saw like 20 of y'all had CMO next to your name on this list downstairs. Now the guy's asking you and those hands aren't going up. And he goes, and how many of your CEOs? And no hands go up. It was just this way to humble the room. He goes, you're not the CEO of of any company if it's just you in your mom's basement. And that's sort of like, and I'm paraphrasing.
I was wondering where you're going with that.
Yeah,
I like that. But I was just like, this is really weird.
It was a weird place.
They're CEOs on Instagram.
CEOs on Instagram. It doesn't mean that you can't be someday, but like also humble yourself. Before you go the CEO, like do something. Hire a person. Employ another human. Like do something.
Yeah.
Other than just change your job title on LinkedIn or post a picture of the Lambo you rented.
Yeah, I didn't even get that. Like I was my title was just a business owner / founder for I think it was like 3 years, and we had like 10 people or 7 people, I think around 10, and then like just one of my mentors was like, you guys you and your partner need to change it to CEO and like CFO or whatever like she wants to be, just because of like appearances and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't really care about titles. So I was like, okay. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fascinating that people end up doing that, but that goes back to the society that's pushing right now, right? Like if you're not on the top, then you're not going to be happy, and that's the dream, right? Is to be like the super rich CEO right now, because for some reason right now at this moment of time, they're cool, but they're not going to be. I mean, give it 5 or 10 years. It's not going to be cool to be that anymore. So that's going to be interesting when that happens, and to watch all the shifting go somewhere else. It'll probably be really good for that to happen too, because then we could work better as a team, and you don't have everybody just trying to start like agencies out of their grandma's basement. I mean, it doesn't really work out that well if you don't have a good plan. Or the main good thing that people tend to overlook is the ability to sell. So I see that all the time, where somebody might have a really good idea and they really know, like they might even create a good product, whether it's a SaaS thing, a SaaS product, or a food. I don't care what the hell it is actually, but if they can't get out there and sell it and get people fired up behind it and like really start like getting people just like, yeah, that sounds awesome, I want some of that, then you're fucked. It's not going to work. I don't even care if it tastes really good, because the thing is, like, you need to convince yourself to get in a meeting if you're trying to sell, like in my case, like hot sauce. Like our hot sauce is fucking epic. It is. I didn't want to get in the hot sauce industry.
Yeah, how'd you get into the hot sauce industry?
I just got into it because I really like making hot sauce for fun, and then I was started making it, just literally as a hobby. And then my best friend and I made this one batch, just fermented stuff, and we're like, this stuff is insane. And so I ate it so fast that I just kept on remaking it, and I was going through about like a half gallon every like week and a half, about every 10 days. It was a ridiculous amount of hot sauce. Yeah, it was ridiculous amount of hot sauce. But it's so good in like creams. I mean, I was just putting it on everything, and I got to a point where I'm like, dude, this needs to be a thing. Like, people need to know about this. This is revolutionary. I mean, it's probiotic. The taste is like nothing I've ever had before. So that's how it had. It's just like, it was too good. And then when I looked at the market, I was just like, okay, let's see, refrigerated section of hot sauces. That's not a thing. And a lot of people told me, well, then don't do it, because it's not a thing. You need to actually, the guy who, I don't know if you've heard Deschutes Brewery, but they're a very large craft brewery, and they're my business neighbor here. Gary Fish has been on my podcast. He's the founder of this beer empire, and he's turned into a mentor of mine when it comes to the hot sauce and in just life. But even him telling me that, like, no, you need to be in the hot sauce section with the other one, so you need to have a kill step and be able to have that thing be shelf stable. And I was just like, well, that kills the probiotics and also makes it not taste as good. And so him telling me that, and other people telling me like, no, it's not going to work. And I kept on being like, oh, that means there's a market, and that means it's really going to work. So there's an opening, right? I didn't want to be with all, like, if you're going to the grocery store, you could find it like next to the sauerkraut and the kimchi and stuff like that in the fermented area, and it pops up. It's like a sore thumb, but a good looking one, because it's red, and so it really stands on its own. Where a red bottle in the hot sauce aisle, it's not going to stand out very much, because everything's fucking red. So this one, it's a differentiator. So in Central Oregon, where we're in like 30 different locations, they go through it pretty fast, because people get addicted to it because it's so good. And if you're listening not in Central Oregon, here's a plug: habithotsauce.com. There you go.
One more time for anybody that missed it. That's habithotsauce.com, and there's a reason that it's called Habit Hot Sauce. And I think that I'm gonna go get some Habit Hot Sauce after this, because I'm now I can feel my glands satiating wherever that is in my mouth. And
yeah, so I got a question for you, man. Since we're both marketers, what do you? So I've been testing a whole lot of different things when it comes to getting the word out on this hot sauce. And so, like I was saying before, it is unreal in the taste. It's like nothing you've ever had before. So people always are like, well, was it like Cholula or Tabasco? I'm like, no, just don't even try. It just doesn't, it's in a different place. So I'm trying to think of like, okay, how do I get that message across to people? One thing that we've been trying a bunch of different stuff. It has been growing. One thing that came to me while I was kind of brushing my teeth yesterday, and I'm going to test a little bit, but what are your thoughts on join the hot sauce revolution?
What is the hot sauce revolution?
That's what I would end up describing it a bit more after that, like, well, join the hot sauce revolution. It'd be like the campaign for a probiotic, organic, non-GMO, just all the things, gluten-free, vegan, good for you, vinegar-free, no preservatives, all that sort of stuff it's all the things that, like when you get Tabasco, that's a bunch of vinegar with some peppers in it. The same with the Tapatio, same with Cholula. If you get just Sriracha, and don't get me wrong, I like Sriracha, but don't read that ingredient list. You'll feel bad about yourself real quick. There's all sorts of stuff you can't even pronounce. While ours is just peppers, water, salt, and some exotic spices I found in Patagonia.
So I was going to say, what sells it? Is it that it's great hot sauce made from awesome ingredients, or is it that it's probiotic, GMO free, all that stuff? for me, the sell
I think
is,
it's yeah. What's for you?
well, yeah, like for me, I think the simplicity of, hey, we're not like, so actually a really good place to look at right now is how the meat councils are taking on the meat substitutes. Pork
Mm.
specifically. Pork is just going toe to toe with these, alternatives with things like,
Right, the Beyond Meat sort of stuff.
right, and the oh my gosh, the creative team is excellent, and it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
you know bacon, the only ingredient is pork, or like it came from a pig. Like it's just very in your face, right? So there's, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
you got an angle with that, with the brand of that you've created for it in Habit,
Mm-hmm.
with the genre that it is, hot sauce, right? It's a little bit like the fucking cowboy that just walks into town, like, oh shit, that's hot sauce. He just showed up. So
Mm-hmm.
I think you can take an edgy approach to it and really push the envelope. All those other things that make it great are still things that make it great and are going to matter to people, but you need to get their attention first. And if you can do that by pushing the envelope, I think you've got a pretty cool opportunity in that revolution. It makes sense because it's that, right? You're challenging the status quo. You're not in the aisle. I'm in the fridge. You got to go find me. You need to go find me. See.
Yeah. So that's where the revolution idea has come from. I guess we could kind of play with a little bit, but I'm trying to think, like, is that something that's going to peak? Because I'm trying to get the point I'm trying to get across is, how do I say? And then the other problem that you have as a marketer or as a business owner or anything, it's a problem I keep on pulling my team out of, and I pull myself out of it. Actually, I just did pull myself out of it. Is getting too close to a product that you're trying to market or service, right? So because you work on this hot sauce, so for me, for example, being an example of getting too close to the product, because I work on Habit every night, I'm not watching Netflix or reading anymore. I'm fucking chopping peppers and making designs and doing marketing. And then the day is Mazama building that. So two different companies. Anyway, I digress. With Habit, I get it. Why do I get it? Because I do it so much. So I understand that it's probiotic. I understand it's organic. I understand that it's just made of these ingredients. I understand that it's there's no plastic used at all in the packaging. I understand that there's a ton of probiotic lactic bacteria in there that is super, super good for your gut health, which helps actually make you less tempting to eat like that bag of potato chips, because bacteria will stop sending those signals to your brain that it wants the potato chips. I understand that it goes amazing in Bloody Marys. I get that it goes really good on broths, better than anything else. Okay, here's the problem, is I get that so much that I start to assume that other people get at least 1/10 or maybe even 1/100th of what I get because I get it so well. But the truth is that you have no fucking idea what my hot sauce is right now, if it's the first time you saw it.
Right.
So that's where it's just like, okay, you got to pull yourself back and be like, join the revolution or whatever it is. How do you pull yourself back enough so that when somebody sees it, they go, huh, that hot sauce I've never seen before. I need to put that in my mouth.
But I think you sort of just described it, man. It was a beautiful thing to watch take place. First, a comment on getting too close to it. In the opening pages of Ogilvy on Advertising, he talks about Henry Ford criticizing a campaign manager and saying, this is a great ad, but do we have to run it forever? And the campaign manager's response was that, sir, we haven't even run it yet. Because he was so close to it, it felt like it was already this old dated copy and he was ready to move on to the next thing. But what you just described is the hot sauce that goes on a lot of things that maybe hot sauce doesn't go on. And you've got a sort of fun concept there. Like, it goes on that? Yeah, it goes on that. Habit hot sauce. It goes on that. Mm-hmm. Like, it can go in a Bloody Mary. It'll make you not want to eat junk food. Like, it does all of these things. It's almost this super hot sauce. It's not Tabasco. This isn't your grandfather's Tabasco sauce that he, dumped begrudgingly on a pile of rice and butter or something. this is Habit hot sauce. This is different. It does all these things.
I
And
like it.
right? Because like when we go buy a car, we fall in love with the car. It's a beautiful car, drives great, and we buy it because we love it. And then as we drive that car for longer, we start to appreciate the finer qualities of it. We still love it. It's still beautiful. Still drives like the day we got it, but we start to appreciate the craftsmanship or the functionality of this, feature within the navigation menu. You start to appreciate those finer details. I think it sounds like that's just sort of where you're at, right? You fell in love with this. You became obsessed. You couldn't stop. And those other things didn't matter to you until it was time that they mattered. So I think you got something unique on your hands.
All right. Well, I like that. It's not your grandpa's hot sauce too. It's great.
Something in there. There's something in there.
Mm-hmm.
This is fun. It's fun, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah. So did you want to dive into billboards or?
I mean, we could just keep talking about being relevant because the habit thing. So I know you from LinkedIn, right? And I know you from LinkedIn specifically from video, specifically from the and just correct me on pronunciation, from the Mazama side. Mazama. I'm sorry, Mazama.
No worries.
You had just said it too, and I'm just like, oh, don't fuck it up, Tim.
It's fine.
So I know you from video from that side, but in terms of habit, it's mostly photographs, right? I don't. I haven't caught any video. Maybe there's some video on other channels, but how do you determine, or do you even go through a decisioning tree, if you will, to say, all right, this is I post video on LinkedIn for this piece of my business, and I post pictures for this piece of my other business. What do you think about it that way?
Honestly,
it just comes out that way.
Yeah. Well, no, so the honest answer is it's just that we need to make more video for Habit. So that's the honest answer. And so when I get more video, and that's on the agenda, it's like start making some video. Like my partner's been making some epic pictures, which you can see on their website, or if you follow me on LinkedIn, I pop them up from occasion, from time to time. So we have a lot of still content on there. The video side, since I do a podcast, and since we just have a ton of cameras all over Mazama's office, we're constantly finding and thinking of content, and constantly shooting it, and having fun with it. So we have that. And we still do still shots, and we sometimes even post on LinkedIn, or I post not even any photo or video, and it's just a long form copy, and that does surprisingly well too when you mix it up. What we found that you want to do that's been the most effective as far as engagement goes is basically we're finding a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio has been working just fine, which is picture, video, and then no picture or video. And it just kind of, it doesn't, I don't really think it matters in that sequence. I think what really matters the most is anybody's listening is thinking about I'm going to start posting on LinkedIn, and I'm going to go in this kind of sequence and everything like that. If you're not doing it yet, then I don't want to care about that. I want to care about what you're doing as far as if it's video or photo or none of that. I would just care that you're doing it, period. So start there. Start being like, I'm going to post what's realistic for you. You want to become relevant, as we're talking about. You want to become relevant so people understand and know that you exist, and you have people coming into your inbox wanting to work with you and wanting to have you on their podcast, or wanting, whatever the case is. You want to do that, then you need to put out consistent content. And that's the main key. So just start with that. I don't even care if there's no photos or videos, and you just type out 2 sentences a day on how you're feeling and how as long as you make it kind of business relevant, then that's what matters. And as long as the content is semi good, you're going to start seeing the traction happening. And but then there's also another point on it, which is patience, because it doesn't happen overnight. So I'll see people that will get into it, and they'll start posting like freaking every day, and they'll go at it hard for like 3 weeks to 5 weeks, and then it's just over. And they're like, I didn't see anything from it. I was like, oh, that's funny. You didn't, neither did I until month 6. So it takes some time. Like there was some doubt that I was just like, man, we're putting in a lot of effort. My team making all these videos. I'm posting all the time. I'm spending a lot of time. Geez, I don't know. Is anybody even watching my podcast? So all of a sudden, it is like our local, like the Bend, Oregon community loves the show. Hold on. And it's turned into a big reference for a ton of leads as well. But that didn't happen overnight. That happened after, I think it was month 6 or month 7, where all of a sudden we have this huge influx of people knowing about Mazama, knowing I'm going to work. Oh, here's the other cool thing about LinkedIn, if we're going to talk specifically about that. Okay, I have sold a lot of hot sauce through LinkedIn, and I did not know I was going to be selling the hot sauce when I decided to become serious on LinkedIn. So, yeah, I decided to start being serious on LinkedIn like a year and longer than that. Really serious a year and a half ago. Launched Habit in like June. So we're talking like almost a year of like, I'm building this up for Mazama, and I still am. That is the main thing. And I was just like, well, looks like I'm launching this hot sauce company. And then you would have people that would tell me, I wouldn't listen to them, but they'll also tell you this about other things, and they're wrong. Like, no, you can't post that stuff on LinkedIn because it's a business platform, and that's where you go talk about business. I'm like, interesting. Turns out there's such thing as a hot sauce business and a cupcake business. And it turns out that my connections on LinkedIn, it's a lot of people in the auto industry, it's a lot of people in the e-com industry. Turns out all those people have something in common. You know what it is? They eat. They eat fucking food. So it's just like, like you're going to have crossover, and and I don't care what you're trying to sell. Like if you are all of a sudden switching careers and you're going from selling SaaS products to you're now a realtor, guess what? All those connections, there's a percentage of them that want to buy, are going to want to buy a house, and they liked working with you in SaaS, or they like following your content. Oh, it turns out that you're in the LA area and you're still in the LA area, or let's say you moved to San Francisco or you moved to New York. I have connections all over I have connections. I have demand in London that I can't fulfill for our hot sauce right now because like it's just too expensive to ship over there and customs and all that stuff, and I don't have time to really figure it out right now. But yeah, man, post a lot, have fun with it, and then after you actually start getting into how you're gonna that you're actually posting, once you've accomplished that you're doing it, and that you're seeing some results, which is going to take you months, then I'd care more about like, okay, you know what's the real science behind what I should be doing, and you're going to figure that out on your own based on when you post videos versus non-videos, versus photos versus just text and stuff like that. So, or when you go live on LinkedIn or any of those boxes. So you'll start learning for yourself what works best with your audience, what your audience likes the most.
How would you suggest to somebody to set up a reasonable measure of success, right? If we all agree it's going to take time, it's going to take time, consistency, and you're just going to have to not fucking quit. So what should someone expect to see once they've put in that 6, 8, 10, 12, 18 months of consistent?
Well, they should expect to have, if they actually care and if they actually talk to the people that are, if they're actually getting into conversations, or that's the other thing, get in the conversations, get in the comments. Like, it's not just about posting. If you post and walk away and you don't respond to your comments, then you're not going to develop the relationships that you don't know what they're going to turn into. You never do. The whole game, like, that's the same as like you showed up to a networking event and you didn't say anything the whole time and you just sat in a corner. Wow. But hey, you were there, you showed up, you posted, but then you just sat there and you didn't do anything. Do you think you're going to walk home with any business opportunities from that event? No, of course not. But hey, you went. So all of the relationships that I've developed that have become very strong on LinkedIn have come from responding to comments and then commenting on other people's stuff and then us following each other. And then all of a sudden you see this like-minded philosophies that I have that other people have. And then you continue work. And then Tim, when you're getting into billboards and stuff like that, I'm starting to think that I'll be pushing some like money that way. So as things develop, you just gotta be patient. You don't know what's going to happen like a month or a year from now, where I could end up be calling you being like, hey, I need some help doing some billboard buys in the Philly area. And you're like, well, you called the right guy. I was like, I thought I did. And, we start going down that road, and that day might come. And then on the opposite effect for me is just like, hey, I have some clients that really need help doing some advanced Facebook and Instagram marketing. I'm like, well, Tim, you called the right guy. I don't know. And that just happens from actually talking. And so we reached out, and we don't know each other except for LinkedIn, reach out and do a podcast, like absolutely. And now we're talking again and meet each other. And this is not the last time we're going to talk. I guarantee that, because I haven't had that happen yet with anybody I've talked to on LinkedIn. The relationships have continued to the point where I'm even meeting these people across the country all the time. So, and then that's the other, like, this is just more of a life lesson really, but like I could right now just be like, Tim, who can use help on digital marketing? Just tell me right now. I need business. Let me know right now. And you'd be like, geez, I don't know. I mean, maybe Bob. I'm like, cool. What's Bob's number? I'll get it back to you. I'm not, so that doesn't make sense. It's just like, I will, like, just from us being kind to each other, we'll be thinking of each other, and it's going to come up organically, and then the lead's going to be that much stronger. If I did pry Bob's number out of you, and then I called Bob, and then Bob called you to ask about me, you'd be like, yeah, he's kind of, I just talked to him once. He kind of dug for your number, to be honest with you. I mean, it's just all going to be off compared to if you just hit me up and said, hey, Bob could use your help. He was Ascend Digital, and here's his number. And then I called and talked to Bob, and then Bob called you and said, hey, what's the deal with Bud guy? You're going to be more like, oh, he really knows his shit, and he's super nice, and blah, blah, blah. If that's what you're going to say about it, I don't know. But hopefully you get my point. A lot of people, they just jump to let me ask you your business right now. And especially those spammers, like as soon as you send a connection request and then you accept it, and they're like, hey, Bud, I've just put together a new website SaaS system and thought it'd be perfect for you and your agency. And it's like, I don't even read past the first sentence. But you can still end up doing that if you don't play this game of just networking and being kind to people and doing the right thing. You do have people see through that bullshit, and that's true on LinkedIn too. It's true when you go to those networking events, man. It's like you go to those events and you start like really hustling, and the whole conversations you're talking to people is just you pitching the whole time. Nobody's gonna want to talk to you. And you're like, screw that. Develop the relationships.
I think it's a primal mechanism just built in, for survival. Hey, people like this.
What's that? To pitch?
Just those types of people that you just described, that are always pitching, looking for that. I need that. You got any of them referrals? You got any of them referrals? Hey man. I think that over the thousands of years that we've been on this planet, we've just sort of started to weed them out, and now they're just exposed at scale. All we did was give them a louder megaphone and let them go into more rooms and, put off more people. So it creates more opportunity, I think, for people that are genuine, especially the genuine people just sort of lurking off on the sidelines going, damn, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. I wish I could do a video. I wish I could do, and then they just wish. Then they either do it or they turn into haters. I don't know. It's one of those two things. I think.
Haters are fun. Do you have any?
Oh, do I have any? Oh my goodness. How much time do you have? Yeah, I got haters, and man, that's actually been a really. I'm not a people pleaser, but I like people to like me, if that makes sense. And I
Of
don't
course.
care if they don't, but I prefer that they do. So I won't compromise
Yeah.
my values. I won't change who I am, but I do my best to be accommodating. So through this whole billboard adventure of mine and the Out of Home Insider show, I decided through conversations just like this that, hey, gosh, it sort of makes sense if I create a group for small independent billboard owners, agencies that maybe aren't exposed or don't understand how out of home is an opportunity for them to grow their own agency, to grow revenue, to just be a better equipped agency. So I've created this group, and there's some folks in it, and it's over on Facebook. But I reached out to this is hysterical. I met someone on Twitter that I've never
Hmm.
personally met in person. Met them via Twitter, and less than 30 days later, they made a very significant investment in digital billboards in a state that I don't work in. And I was able to facilitate that directly through my job, but they were looking to also purchase other parts of the state that we didn't have coverage in. So I reached out to a couple people down that way, and a few were receptive. And one owner of a small billboard company in the neighboring town that I had just received a very significant investment for, I said, "Hey, I'd like to connect with you, get to know you, and learn a little bit more about what a great referral might look like for you." And this individual, the president, owner of this company, and they responded, "I don't know why you would need that from me. I'm sure you could just ask someone in your office." I was just like, "Oh, you don't get it, dude. Oh, you don't get it at all." And at first I was offended, but I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? What did I do? I didn't do anything to you." And I was a little pissed. And then I really took a step back. I said, why am I upset about this? Like, I'm not upset about not having, being able to sell her. It doesn't matter to me. That's when I realized, like, there's some people that just aren't part of the plan. There's just some people that are not part of your plan. And
No,
I tried to force
and
people.
that's okay though.
I think it
That's
is
okay though, right?
right.
It has
And
to
that's where,
be,
like, some of
because
my haters
you can't make
are seeing
everyone
it.
happy.
Right. Right. So how do you deal with the haters? Is it fuel for you? Do you just brush it off, ignore it? Do you does it ever get under your skin? It's Uncle G, right?
Uh,
Love haters.
yeah. Who?
Grant Cardone,
Who'd you say?
Uncle G.
Oh,
Love haters.
I don't,
Get you some haters.
yeah. I don't follow him too much at all. I mean, I know of him and stuff, but I've taken Gary Vaynerchuk's approach to it,
Yeah.
which I don't do a lot. I don't follow a lot of. I love the kindness stuff. Obviously, I say it a lot. But I was into being kind before I followed him. I used to not. I used to be a fucking dick. But anyway, that's another story. Let's see, dick, not a dick, haters. Oh, it's just and I think he was right about this. Is like when somebody takes time to digest your comment and or your content, and then they just respond with negative stuff, then man, that their life is not. It's not going. Things are not going good for them right now. Because if that's what you're doing with your time, you're just like consuming other people's content and you're throwing out hate, then things must not be doing too good up in your head. And I've taken it, and I'm like, that's probably true. And so I started to get haters, and I just post mostly, actually, all the time, positive stuff. I've gotten haters from me. Like, one of the big things we're pushing is for sex trafficking. In the sex slavery business, which is very rampant in the world, even our small little community of Bend, Oregon, here, a mountain town. That's what we're fighting. And I had people that started hating on that, and I was just like, "Huh?
How do you hate
How
on
about that?"
What kind of person are you?
Well, they're like going under. What was one person saying? And this guy's like a troll, and I was like, man, I feel bad because I think he's just doing it for the attention. And again, then I felt really bad for him. He's saying that like, you know, it's you're not a slave if it's your choice. Talking about prostitutes and it's their choice, which that's a whole nother conversation. But the skinny part of that conversation is just this: it's not their choice at all. They're forced into it. And I don't want to get into it any more than that because it gets to be a really dark place. But do some research if you're listening. If you think that sex slaves are like Pretty Women, where the women chooses to be a prostitute and everything like that, look up Romeo Pimps. Learn it's not like that. They're forced into this shit. But anyway, that and I've had people that have like really gone off about other positive stuff before. And I remember one person. It's actually from England, and this is kind of fun. This is how I got my English demand, and it's also we launched a English branch. We're in England now for Mazama Media, and our first clients came from this hater, believe it or not. So this hater, it was on one of the most popular posts I've ever done on LinkedIn. It was asking if you would rather do the left or the right design when we were trying to figure out what logo and bottle we were going to do for Habit. And the Habit on the left was cursive and the Habit on the right was not. And it's the logo that you see today. Well, we altered it a bit, but basically the logo that you see today. And so I basically asked people on LinkedIn, like, vote left or right, which one? And it went off. They got in front of 55,000 people, thousands of comments, tens of thousands of likes, and it was just insane. And this one guy in England that owns a branding company, he really went off saying that words like, and he didn't have the best English too, which is funny for him being English. His grammar and spelling was subpar at best. But he was just going off about how you need to hire a branding company for this. And everybody that's given all these opinions from apparent CEOs, quote unquote, are a bunch of fucking dumbasses. And then one of his English buddies jumped on agreeing with him. And it was like, holy shit. And by the way, the majority of the people that did weigh in that were CEOs, CFOs, some of them were like the CEO and founder of Hum, the biggest goddamn kombucha company in the world. Gary Fish, the guy I was just talking about. Scott Allen, the CEO of Hydro Flask, just to name some. So I was just like, I don't, that's pretty insulting and ill of form. So he leaves this long paragraph saying that, and then his buddies jump on, and I just basically responded with something along the lines of, I appreciate your input. That was it. And then more hate came from him and the other ones. And I was just like, I appreciate your guys' thoughts. And what ended up happening was a bunch of people that were more of a fan of mine, I guess. I don't know how you want to put it, but like non-haters started jumping in and calling him a motherfucker. And then there was just this huge argument between, I wasn't even a part of it, besides saying thank you for your input, of other people just saying, fuck, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This guy's had more, like one of the comments was, this guy's had more likes and comments on this post than all of your posts combined.
Call that street justice.
Yeah. But so anyway, going back to Gary's point, like I didn't see the point of getting upset and saying any of those things because, well, one, I didn't know this was going to happen, but some people did it for me. But two, so as the post continued to go on, he continued to be negative about stuff. And one day I just messaged him on direct on DM. I was like, hey, blank, are you doing okay? And that's all I asked with a question mark, because I was generally concerned. I mean, all you're leaving on my posts are just negative stuff. And he's just like, no, I'm doing fine, everything's great, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden he turned into this raving fan because I just cared. And he's one of the guys that's demanding to buy some, and he said he'd pay for all the shipping. I need to get back to him on that, on how to get it to England, and referring us to people out there now that Mazama's out there. And him backing the charge has led to just him talking about that, led to a ton of people from England seeing it, and a bunch of those people from England wanting Habit and helping me with different ideas on posts. One guy, one foodie in England who's an incredibly good Instagram food expert, just giving me all these tips for free. Another guy that just became our first client, it's a huge client that came in because of that hater. That's the reason that why he even connected. When I like followed it back, I'm like, oh, we connected right when that guy did, because he must have been connected to that guy in one way or another. So I guess that comes to the other point of just like, you know, why get upset about it when somebody says something mean about you on LinkedIn or whatever it is? That makes the algorithm, it doesn't matter what they say, it makes the algorithm get in front of more people that they're connected with that would have never known you existed before. So don't get upset about it. It turns into business. It turns into more people. It turns into more attention, and attention if done correctly, turns into revenue. So don't get upset about it ever. There's no reason to. It works. It's great, even when they say like really awful things. So I don't know. That's how. But you also asked the question, does it get under my skin? It hasn't with that thought, except one old guy was going off once on me. So just for me to be honest, because I'm human, just like we were saying before the show, like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Or I don't wake up every day at 4 a.m. and then fast till do yoga and all that shit. I'm not perfect.
Hot yoga.
So yeah, yeah, exactly. So I have let it get to me once. And there's this guy that he's been trolling on me for a while, and he's old. And he also has really awful spelling and grammar. It seems to be consistent amongst the haters. They seem to not be able to type. And he was just going off about what was it with the phones? Oh, you kids and your social media, blah blah blah, always posting, just hating on me hard. He's like, how did you even get around before? How did you even like get to know people before social media? And I said, my team helped me come up with this, because this had enough of this guy. And I was like, I don't know. How did you get around before rotary phones?
Were you a hater your whole life, or was that just that came along with the internet?
Yeah, and so that really pissed him off. And he started going. He started saying that he's going to come and like that we have weak hands, and he's going to come and like punch us like Zuckerberg or something. It's just kind of fucking funny. We're like, okay, man.
Kimbo's
got in front of more people.
LinkedIn universe.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
That's great.
Love you, Kimbo. Man.
Yeah. What about? Yeah, you seem to handle it good, though. I mean, you weren't really going off. I mean, the thing, I don't know what's wrong. I guess the thing is like when you start thinking that if there's nothing wrong with it, then who cares? Maybe, I don't know.
Right? Did anyone even notice?
I don't think so. I think it's just you, and I think you just think that everybody's now looking at that.
Totally.
Sometimes, and you're like, maybe one person saw it, maybe they read half the sentence.
And they forgot about it 7 seconds later because they got an email and they've got a meeting in 20 minutes, and it's that they have their own life to worry about. They're not necessarily concerned about what someone did or didn't say to you, or that you only got 6 comments this time and not 8 like last time, and you must be falling off.
Oh yeah, that's kind of funny. That's what people care about themselves the most. So why stop having such a huge ego, thinking people are really caring about this right now when all they really care about is them, which is a good tip for marketing. That whenever for my clients or for Habit or whatever, whenever I remember, which I try to remember we do remember all the time. Sometimes the message can slip because again, we're human. Sure. But you always make the client the hero. Always. And as soon as you start making the business the hero, like, oh, we've been in business since 1952 and we're great because we have all these awards, nobody gives a shit. No one. They care about how are you going to make their life easier. They're Luke Skywalker and you're Yoda as a business. So how are you going to help them basically destroy the Death Star instead of, no, we're the best. We have all these awards, this and that.
Sounds like you've built quite the story brand, my friend.
Yeah, Donald Miller's good.
He's good, man. He's so good. And it's funny because just last week, same conversation. We've been here since 1963. And I looked at him, and we're just on cool grounds like that. And clients like this are always good. And I said, Dave, no one fucking cares. No one that comes here and spends money with you was even born back. They do not care. Can they have a good time while they're here? Can they drink and get a little fucked up with their friends and then go float down the river tomorrow and camp in a tent? Can they do that? Great. If they can do that for a reasonable price and it's generally clean, they don't care that you've been here since Pocahontas came through. Like, it just doesn't matter.
No, it just doesn't. And so the Donald Miller, you're right. And one thing I was just thinking about, does the hot sauce revolution line up to what we're talking about right now with making sure that the client is the hero?
I think it does.
Does join the hot sauce revolution line up with that? That's what I was just thinking as we were talking about this.
I think you should look at the canned water movement. Look at Ugly. Look at Liquid Death. They're putting seltzer in a can, which has been available at grocery stores for 99 cents since 1960, since
the dawn of time. Sure, yeah.
And they're putting it in cans with better processes, fewer ingredients, just like Habit, and they're building brands around water.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that
what's it called? Ugly.
Ugly is one of them. Hugh Thomas, he's pretty active on LinkedIn, and then the other one is Liquid Death, which is actually out of the UK, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Ugly drinks, cool. So I'll check them out.
It's cool, man. Cool swag, cool branding, and that's really. I mean, they're just ahead of the curve. Obviously, we're already there in some ways, but with established brands that have maybe been doing it for a while, but where things are transcending the product, right? It's water. It's soda water, right? it's just seltzer. Yeah. We saw that rage a couple years ago with the different flavors, and they almost got it. They almost got it right. But these guys are building legitimate brands around canned water, and it's incredible.
So Ugly was the first one. What was the other one?
Liquid Death.
Okay, check that one out too.
I think it's
so I don't know if people are seeming to join. I mean, I'm a big I'm just inhaling bubblies nowadays because I haven't been into soda for I haven't been able to. Basically, I haven't had soda in 14 years. That's a whole nother story. But so it hasn't been on the table for me. So it's been water, and then LaCroix started to become cool, and I was just like, oh, I guess I'll try it. And now I'm just inhaling bubblies. So it's quite the trend to jump on. But you're right. It's carbonated water.
That's
it's how you make the brand. And so, yeah, I don't know if join. That's what I'm trying to make sure you position the client as a hero. Like if they're joining something that's something that sometimes I think they would like.
Right. And what am I joining?
Want to be a part of something.
When I join, do I get a Habit hot sauce sticker to go slap on something and take a picture of and post to Instagram to drive a ton of engagement before we release this for whatever? What is that revolution?
Yeah.
What do you want it to look like in the real world?
So I'm thinking, well, my basic thought on it was just say you got yourself a pile of Habit and start pouring it on everything. But I mean, we have stickers, and I'm getting into text marketing has been incredibly successful for Habit and for a bunch of my clients, 1,623% ROI we've had on on one campaign, which is just okay. And that's because text messages has a 99% open rate.
Sure. Can't avoid it.
Maybe you took join the hot sauce revolution by texting join now to 59238, which by the way, that's not it. Don't do that. If you're listening.
Not getting a sticker.
That's brainstorming. No, nothing's going to happen.
Or
But
you just joined something that you wish you never joined.
but maybe that would be a trigger to like, yeah, and we'll send you some habit stickers and a coupon or something like that for half off habit, and then they actually get something tangible in the mail. I don't know. That might not be a bad idea. As a way to get them to join, and they get that. But my original thought is them joining the revolution is just like being a part of it. Like I'm not putting bullshit preservatives on my food anymore. I'm not putting vinegar on my food anymore and all these chemicals. I'm putting healthy, probac, raw, alive hot sauce on my food, and hopefully that bleeds over into like the rest of your life, as it has for me and some of our fans that have ate it. My partner is like, we're eating fermented everything nowadays because I've just been feeling all the benefits. Like I've lost like 15 pounds, and I'm working out, and I have a lot of energy and everything like that because I'm having like milk kefir all the time, just fermented milk. So
Yep.
freaking good when you make it yourself. Kombucha, yogurt, obviously Habit hot sauce, sauerkraut, kimchi, pickles. There's so many fermented foods that just have all these like really probiotics. That these probiotics, what they do, is they control more sensors in your gut biome than your brain has sensors
Wow.
for telling your body what to do. So the bacteria really is what drives your brain to say, this is what I'm hungry for, is because your GI tract that's what it's craving. It's not your brain. Your brain's just fucking relaying. Your brain's just a messenger. It's the bacteria that are telling it. So you start all of a sudden flipping that shitty bacteria out. It's craving potato chips all the time and McDonald's French fries and shit like that with good bacteria, where it's asking for like veggies and lean, clean food that doesn't have any antibiotics in it, because antibiotic, like if you start eating beef with antibiotics, and antibiotic means anti-life. So it doesn't just kill the bad bacteria, it kills all the bacteria. Antibiotics in your gut is like nuking. It takes 2 years for your gut biome to recover when you take it out. So be really careful when you do that. Yeah. So it's not just like, oh, I'll be good this week and next week I'll be better. It's like, no, you kind of got to build it up for 2 years and then you'll be better. So that's kind of a big deal. But since I got serious into this because I had gout at the young age of fucking 32, and that blew my mind because I was vegan for 2.5 years until my gout happened, and I started bringing in tons of fermented foods. Like, not even funny. Habit went on everything, fermented foods everywhere, and tons of vegetables. And I brought dairy in because it lowered uric acid, and that's gone away, and that's been fantastic. But the other fantastic thing that's never happened to me before in my life, because I've struggled with my weight my whole life basically, and I've always had, I'm sure people can relate with this, but I've always had this battle where I have an angel on my left shoulder and a devil on my right, and the angel says, eat those jalapeno potato chips, or the angel says, don't eat them, and the devil says, eat them, and it's a battle between them. And if I'm doing good, then the angel wins and I won't eat the potato chips. But most of the time the devil wins, and I'll eat the entire fucking party-sized bag of jalapeno potato chips. So for the first time in my life, that argument isn't even happening.
Wow.
It's
Just
cool,
from
man.
it's interesting because I think you just flipped another light bulb for me, in that probably about a month and a half ago I started shopping at, there's a farm stand like 5 miles from my house, and I found out that they had 10% off for veterans on Wednesday night, because my perception was that it was always more expensive, right? It's going to cost me a lot.
Yeah.
So I went one Wednesday night, and I'm looking at stuff, and I buy everything on like not on, what is it, volume price, right? How many ounces and dollar and all that stuff. So that's how I buy everything. I'm looking at some of the prices of the beef that is from their farm, from their cows that are out back, the eggs that are from the chicken coop that I can see 100 yards away, the milk from the farm down the road, and the vegetables that were grown locally. And I'm looking at all the prices, and this isn't much different than the grocery store. So I started shopping there, and I've been telling people, I'm like, I just feel better. Like, honestly, I've probably been working out less since I've been going there, which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but physically, emotionally, just energetically, I feel a lot better, but I'm eating everything's organic. Like everything's grown on a farm that is 5 miles from my house. So
That's awesome. Are you a veteran?
Yeah, I am. So
Thanks for your service, Tim.
thanks for the support, man.
Mm-hmm.
So that point about the beef that
you're right,
and the antibiotics, like I'm just not putting that shit in my body.
No, yeah, and so yeah, it turns out like vegan's one thing, and I did that for a while, about 2.5 years. Now I'm vegetarian, and the thing is that I'm doing a lot better. I mean, I got gout as a vegan, which makes you wonder because what causes gout is meat and alcohol. I definitely was doing the alcohol. Not an alcoholic, but I live in a fucking craft beer mountain town where we have more breweries per capita than anywhere in the U.S. So casual beers is just a thing here, and so I've had to cut that out, and it's turned out to be a good thing. But but the meat I wasn't, and so then I was worried about bringing dairy in. The Lord had got me. I was like, oh, I don't know because I'm a good reason. But I went and I found a cow, a dairy cow. And I met the damn thing, cute little cow. Anyway, I met her, I met her, and she's not full of antibiotics, and she roams these pastures, and she's not hooked up to a machine, and I get milk from her once a week because I bought like a share of it, and it's delicious. And I don't have any antibiotics because in the milk it's the same. Like if those dairy cows are shot with antibiotics, which they are, to make them not get sick because they're so close quartered and they have these machines making cuts on their udders because that's what happens. Actually, so with that, the standard milk that you see at the grocery store, like I'm not talking about like the stuff that comes like, when you think of a milk jug with the blue top on it or wherever top, the standard milk jug, that stuff, the FDA allows a certain percentage of bleach in it.
You said bleach?
And yeah.
Like
and they let
like the bleach I use on my clothes and my floor and my toilet, bleach.
Yeah. The shit you're not supposed to eat. Right.
Got
that
it.
stuff. They allow a certain percentage of bleach in milk, so that the dairy farmers, which good job to whatever lobbyist won this, convinced the FDA to allow this to go through, but that's a hell of a sell. We gotta put bleach in it. Why do you need to put bleach in it? Because there's blood and pus in it, guys, and it looks bad. So if we bleach it, it'll be white. Oh, yeah, you could do that then. What a conversation that was.
Yum. Yum. That's awesome. That's great. And that's the other thing about going to the farm stand. My milk comes in a glass jar, probably much like yours, and I bring the jar back, and I feel like I'm doing something good for the environment too, while drinking the best chocolate milk that I've ever had.
It's so good, isn't it? When you get it right from the cow.
Almost, I only ever pour myself a half a glass because it's just so good and it's so rich. It's so creamy. The butter, like everything from there, it's almost ridiculous because I try to have these conversations with people at work. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have the best farm stand. No idea. Look at what I ate last night. You can get these frozen meals there. They're 4 for $20, and with the 10% off, right? 4 for $18, and it's like the grandma of the farm made them and packaged them. So I come home and I have meatloaf and I have roasted red potatoes. It's great, man. It's the same money. It's costing me the same or less than going to the grocery store.
Yeah, and it's a lot better on your body, man. You're not taxing the hell out of it by having a bunch of who knows how much bleach and antibiotics is not in your milk anymore. So winning and blood and pus.
And blood and pus.
All four of those things you probably don't want, and that's what's in those other ones.
Right. And with the world being crazy, coronavirus and all these different things going on, it's sort of just nice to know where your food's coming from.
Yeah. Coronavirus, that's a great example, by the way. not to go on a tangent, but here's a tangent. That's a great
Let's go.
example of marketing just gone wrong, man. But like it works so well, but it's just gone so fucking wrong. Like you just you have the news and the internet and the cable news just needing clicks.
Yes.
And so we've gone into an age of, there's this book called Trust Me Online from Ryan Holiday, who's my favorite author. It was his first book. And he talks about how he was able to get any story whatsoever, and he teaches you how to do it too. How to get any story picked up by a blogger and how to watch that go all the way up and to be on fucking and the NBC Nightly News.
Stop it.
And it could be completely
he got onto the news?
false. Oh, he does it all the time. Like you just gotta read. Like he'll just have a completely fake story to promote some movie or some actress or some whatever, or American Apparel, which he was doing it for. And he would just like watch as he would have this fake stuff just go up because it would get clicks and nobody cared, and there's no integrity. There's no checks on whether or not this is a true story or not. Wow. So with the Corona thing, you just see when I was at the gym. I don't watch cable news, but when I was at the gym, I was just watching like the flash on the TV just said coronavirus outbreak. And outbreak was the scariest font I can think of. It all red. And it covered the entire coronavirus thing. And it's just looking like this. Like if you looked at this, you'd think we're gonna die. Everyone's gonna fucking die. And so that's what everyone starts thinking. And then it just continues to feed that. When the truth is yeah, it's a virus and people are dying and it sucks and that's a bummer. But more people have died from influenza this year than the coronavirus. And that's the flu.
So
more
I don't
people
know
died
if
from
you
the flu
made me
this
feel
year.
better or worse. There it is. See, I've been fighting this little cold since I came back from the city last night, and I'm like, shit, I sure hope I don't have the coronavirus. But now you tell me that I'm more likely to die from the flu. So I don't know.
It's killing the same people. It's killing the same people that the flu kills every year. Very old and very young. And so, you're neither one of those. You take care of yourself. You keep on getting milk that doesn't have antibiotics and pus and shit in it, and your good meat and stuff like that. You'll get over the cold. But I did one podcast with Brian Dunning, who's the podcast host of Skeptoid, just a very intelligent, very popular podcast.
Totally.
It's and have you heard of Skeptoid? Sorry.
I have, yeah.
Yeah. So he was on. The guy's really way more intelligent than I am, and so I was doing everything I could to keep up with him intellectually, which I think it turned into a pretty good show. And we had a lot of good laughs, and I still chat with him, and I reference. I'll hit him up. I'll text him. I'm like, whenever we're in debate, I'm like, hey, I need some help on this. He's like, tell them that. I'm like, thanks. Just gotta go.
He's your photo friend.
Yeah, exactly. But what were we talking about? We were talking about how we came to this conclusion that we were thinking that, or he was thinking, and now I'm just claiming it was a we, it's definitely a he, and I now agree with him, that people need to be afraid of something. People want to be afraid of something. So we live in a society right now where everything's taken care of for us, dude. You have this perfect farm right next to you. I can order food or get whatever the hell I want within like a day or less with Amazon. Like the cars drive themselves now. You can be anywhere you want in the world with just a plane ticket within 24 hours. You could look up anything you want in the supercomputer that's more powerful than computers that they had that did the Apollo missions. We all have it. We're like cyborgs. And so basically we're not worried about saber-toothed tigers or an angry horde coming. We aren't worried about a bunch of angry Canadians invading and killing us in America. Like that's not a part of the equation. So you start thinking of like 5G and, oh my God, that's going to start killing all the radiation when it turns out it's just radio waves and it's a bunch of bullshit. Or you start going down other conspiracy roads or coronavirus, whatever it is. It's just because people need to be afraid, like something, they need to have their attention, that something is to be fearful of. There needs to be something. And then that's what allows this stuff to really like take off and blow up. I find that to be true a lot of time when I look at something. Now, if the numbers started coming back from coronavirus that like, half the people that got the virus are dying, then I'd be like, I wouldn't be talking about this. I'm like, yeah, that shit's accurate. You gotta lock this shit down. But it's not that. It's like I forget what it is, but it's not even in the double digits percentage wise, not even close. So you start throwing some Black Plague numbers around, like 30, 40, 50%, then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, nobody should go outside.
Yeah.
Try not to die.
Right. We should
But
restrict
it's not.
everyone in China. That's just those are crazy things. It's funny to think how we've adapted. Right. We talked a little bit now about some primal instincts and how those things translate into the modern world. It's interesting to think how many of those things there are, and that we don't know how they're impacting and affecting us on a daily basis. Right. The fight or flight mechanism that you don't use, right? There is no saber-tooth tiger, but you do need to have that reaction. Your body's still geared that way, and it's going to react to whatever that thing is, whatever that mechanism is. And, for relevancy, right? The reticular activating system that says, hey, that looks familiar. That I can trust that thing. I'm looking for a Subaru. All of a sudden I start noticing all the Subarus. That must be like me. And now I feel like I'm part of the pack or whatever. We see advertising that all of a sudden it's relevant because now all of a sudden it's relevant. So these things have adapted over thousands of years, and it'll be fun to watch how they morph as we find more ways to advertise to people, as we find different saber-toothed tigers and things to be afraid of.
Yeah, we'll find virtual reality advertising. See how that goes.
No kidding, man. I'm keeping my eyes on augmented reality. What do you think? Is it VR, AR, or something that we're not seeing yet? What do you think it's going to be?
I don't know. I mean, Facebook gave me an Oculus Quest. Actually, Zuckerberg did. I was at their conference last year, and he had an Oprah moment where everybody in the crowd's got an Oculus Quest, which is kind of funny. But it's cool. But I don't know. I think something to spend a bit more time on is this thing that won that I wish didn't win, which is voice. And that just learning how to make apps within Google, Siri, and Amazon Alexa is much more of like an emerging thing that people aren't taking advantage of. The same with like text message marketing. It seems so like, oh, well, obviously very few companies do it. Very, very, very few. And when it comes to VR, AR, it depends on like how small can they make the goggles. What I think is going to win, to answer your question, if you have me pick, I think it's going to be VR, because I haven't seen an AR piece of equipment really take off yet, nor have I seen one of VR, but VR has definitely had more success than AR has. So it's just, I think they'll both end up being a part of our future. It's just which one do you decide to spend money in when it comes to how you're going to market for your clients or for your business. And maybe VR, but that's only if you're looking to forecast 5 years from now. If you're looking more on being cutting edge like today, then I'd be looking at TikTok and text message marketing and messenger bots.
Let's talk about messenger bots, because you just pulled off like a crazy ass thing. So let's talk messenger bots and voice. Messenger bots, is it exclusive to Facebook, Instagram? Are you seeing people use it on their sites? Where are you finding the most effective uses?
Well, we personally use it like mostly. I mean, we've built a few to go on websites, but that's like the website is like a somebody's there, and if they want to talk, they'll toggle in the lower right hand corner and it'll pop up, and then we can have it answer a few questions, and that's fine. It's better than not having it, but where we can see more actual results, like, hey, you put in $1 and it spit out $4 or $10, is on asking for acquisitions through Messenger via Instagram, Facebook, and sending people in the Messenger. We've seen a ridiculous amount of success building out bots. We built out one bot that can take people will take a picture of their ID and a picture of their insurance, and then see if they qualify for a weight loss surgery, and then set an appointment with the doctor for that.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So and so that client's stoked because it's working, and so
and why did
we built other.
Did you choose that piece of the equation because it was the qualifier, or because that's like the biggest pain in the ass part of dealing with every doctor, or both?
It was because we wanted serious leads. So you can make a lead gen ad on Facebook and get a bunch of leads that are shit really easily. Just Google Facebook lead gen ad, create a lead gen ad, and the person just puts in their name and number, autofill into it, and then they hit sign up, and then you get a lead emailed to you immediately from Facebook. Sounds dope, and it's cheap. What could go wrong, right? Problem with that technology is it's too easy for the consumer to do it. So it's been something I've been playing with for like 5 years, is those ads. It's really hard to make them work. You need a team that has a sub 60-second response time on leads. That's number one. That's fucking almost impossible to find. So first, do you have that? Yeah, give it a shot. If not, don't even do it. Because it's too easy to do. And so since somebody doesn't have to type in their name or their email, and they just hit sign up, most of the conversations between the sales rep and that lead go along the lines of this. Hey, you sent in a lead through Facebook. No, I didn't. No, you did. No, I definitely didn't. And that's most of the conversations. But they did. I've talked to these people personally, and I've been able to convince them that they did. And they're like, that's right. I do kind of remember that. It's like asking somebody what they ate for breakfast today. Like, oh, yeah, a lot of times they don't really remember, especially if you ask them what they had breakfast yesterday. Like, because most fucking sales response times is like post 24 hours. So you're not, hey, not today, but Tim, what did you eat for breakfast yesterday? I'm having a hard enough time thinking of, yeah, right?
I really don't know.
If you're just cruising on Facebook, so if you're just cruising on Facebook while taking a shit, and you're like, yeah, I'm kind of interested in a new Audi, and you hit sign up to get some information on a test drive, and you keep on going, and then a day and 12 hours later, somebody calls you, you might actually be like, no, I really didn't do that.
It's like the modern day.
That.
It's the equivalent of walking down the street in the city and taking the flyer to the restaurant that you're not going to go to. Like, oh yeah, I'll just take that thing.
Yeah, I'll just take the thing. It's a great analogy.
Right, and then the guy goes back and says, I handed out 100 brochures today, boss. And the boss is like, yeah, but nobody came in.
Yeah, it's a fantastic analogy. So what we did in your problem there with the handing out the brochures, let's see if I can find an analogy first. But so for that, we switched it up to be like, okay, send us a picture of your health insurance, and we'll be able to see if you qualify. So now the person has to be like, okay, I'm opening my wallet, I'm finding my health insurance card, I'm now taking a picture of it with my phone and sending it on Messenger. And they came there with an ad they saw on Facebook. They clicked sign up with a Messenger icon, and it opened up Messenger. And then a bot told them, okay, just take a picture and then we'll see if it verifies. So now this person they actually care. They didn't just take the flyer. They took the flyer, and in essence, they gave the kid, maybe let's just say they gave him $1. Like, yes, I will go, and they'll get that $1 back if they actually go into the restaurant. Doesn't mean that they can still say whatever to the $1, but they did give up they did take some time. They did do something to more than just tap a button. It took a lot of effort. So that's where those things end up becoming successful. And then from there, my team just built it out on top of that. My team was just like, all right, so if that's the key to make good leads come in, then how do we make it to go from beginning to end, which end is a book appointment in their software for them to come in and send them a confirmation email and all that stuff. And so that just built over time to do all that.
Right. And so, and for a business that I mean, shoot, for any business, just to be able to have that, and that can run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, to equip a manned staff to do that and to do it effectively would never be economical, and would probably be
No,
possible from a talent standpoint or a process standpoint to just keep that many people. You just couldn't do it.
no, you have a lot of tire kickers and stuff, but that's not to say you shouldn't. So they have a team, and actually we have a team too. So people that will just kind of oversee all the messages coming in, and they'll
Sure.
see somebody drop off or something, and you could come back in and be like, hey, this is a bot anymore. This is Sally, and I was just here to help you change your life. You still have we just need a picture of your ID if you have a second. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. The human element still does help.
Oh,
But
for
you
sure.
could scale, like we have ones that come all the way through, but I would still, like, you're going to launch a messenger campaign. If you're listening to this, I would not just think that the bot's going to take care of everything for you. Keep an eye on it every day.
How many, so for one person, how many campaigns could they look over at one time? I think that's where the advantage is.
For a person,
Yeah, it's one person.
I yeah, that answer, it would be, let's see, trying to think of the call center to work with. Um, I think one person can overlook, like, I think it's like 250 conversations at a time.
Okay. I
They
mean,
can overlook and see.
it's
Yeah,
reasonable.
I mean,
But and some are
yeah,
dropping off and
and
new ones are coming in, and that 250 is always changing and morphing.
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, we can get it up a bit higher, and we have, but sometimes we're like, it's actually better if it's a bit less, because then they have more time to give some TLC. You see that some people are just in and they gave some of their information and they just didn't want to fucking talk to a bot anymore.
Yeah,
And then when a real human comes on, you're just like, hey, I just want to see if I can help you, and I'm real. And then all of a sudden, you have an actual lead for a $40,000 surgery. So it's like worth it, right? It's like,
totally.
we're not selling in this scenario. I mean, it's worth it in almost any scenario, but in this scenario, we're talking about like big ticket items.
And that's where with out of home advertising, my counterpart and we came up with well, sort of an attribution sliding scale because out of home can be measured in so many ways, and all of those ways sound great, but not all of those ways are practical for everybody. So we came up with a
Mm-hmm.
scale that really sort of mirrors what you just described there, and we call it low commitment, average commitment, and high commitment. And those low commitment businesses might be a quick service restaurant, right? A burger joint. It could be, maybe a fireworks stand around the 4th of July, right? Things where it's, hey, honey, let's just go check that out. I didn't need to think about it. I'm not committing too much financially, time-wise. We're just making a spur-of-the-moment decision to go do that. For those types of businesses, I can tell you measurable foot traffic impact to your business from exposure to your outdoor campaign. That's exciting. Going all the way to the high commitment side, right? A vehicle, a $40,000 surgery. There's going to be more
Mm-hmm.
steps involved. So to track foot traffic, there's a lot of things that can go wrong between me seeing your advertising and me showing up at your place. So to measure the impact or efficacy of an outdoor advertising campaign based on a whole lot of variables that we don't control is unfair. So then we say, all right, we're going to measure it with, lift and organic and direct traffic. We're going to monitor things like Google Trends, maybe use some social listening tools to see what people are saying about you, or if we're creating those conversations, because that's what we do. So it's cool to see we're all sort of up against the
Yeah.
same types of challenges, right? They're all the same fundamental challenges. And how do we execute in the most effective and efficient way possible?
Mm-hmm. Making the client the hero, right?
Totally. That's it. And setting that expectation
Yeah.
up front of, hey, you're a luxury car dealership. I'm not measuring foot traffic for you. As much as you would love for me to sit across this table from you and say, hey, this is how we're going to do it, because I know that dealers love the idea of foot traffic and being able to know someone saw my ad and then they showed up here and spent money with me. That would be unrealistic of me to tell you that's going to happen, because they need to go to your website. Your website needs to work. You need to have the car priced accordingly. Your BDC needs to not screw it up. There's so many things that have to happen right along the way. How do you? So we talked up there about the bots. How do you see voice as? It sounds like sort of an undervalued play still, even though we're talking about voice, but it doesn't sound like it's being executed from an advertising marketing standpoint. What's your take?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's something we're still trying to figure out over here. And sorry, Tim, I gotta run to an appointment for this.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure, dude.
Appointment. This conversation's been great.
Yeah, man.
So voice, the first take is like making. Right now, the market seems to be open for taking the time to make skills. And then I would advertise a skill. So staying on the car train, like if you were going to make a Subaru of Bend, Bend is the town I live in. If you were going to make not a Subaru, a skill, but a Subaru of Bend Alexa skill. And that skill was going to give you mountain updates when you wanted them. And for snow is what I mean, for skiing. Mm-hmm. And whenever you wanted to talk about scheduling an oil change, you can do that through the Subaru of Bend Alexa app or any service, and or you can ask what's the best deal for an Outback right now. So you do that, and then you advertise the shit out of it through whatever marketing you want. Telling people to tap here to download the Subaru of Bend Alexa app or radio or what, I don't care, just however you get the voice out. And the thing is I believe that if you were to take that seriously, you would end up getting a lot of attention just because it's so like, what? You made an Alexa skill? And even if they don't do it, they'll be like, huh, that's unique, and people will start talking about, hey, did you see that Subaru Bend? They made an Alexa skill. Even if they don't download it, they're just talking about you, and that's being relevant. You want that to happen. So when you start making first mover advantage, you have those kind of advantages before all of a sudden every dealership in town has an app, and that's how, what dealership doesn't have a voice app? That's how I get all my oil changes scheduled and whatnot. So it's the first mover advantage, and then thinking like how you're going to end up doing that, how it's going to end up being a value. I think that could be your biggest value. Is just like, you're now able to change your oil by talking to Alexa, and Amazon's put Alexa everywhere. So how easy is that?
That's awesome. I think after this, I'm going to go build the out-of-home insider skill. But I want to leave you with this from me to you, the Habit Hot Sauce Revolution. Every revolution has a flag, my friend. Give them a flag and let them hold it and raise it and wave it for you. It's been a lot of fun, but if people want to find you, where's the best spot?
Probably LinkedIn. I mean, I'm active on Instagram. My last name's unique, Torcom as in Mary. So I'm the only like Bud Torcom out there. So, if you find my Facebook and my Instagram, and my LinkedIn is what I'm most active on. And then I have a website, budtorcom.com, and you can see our podcasts. And all that fun stuff, which we do. We have a bunch that we're going to be dropping. A lot of really fascinating conversations with people who've just built big empires here, and they're all live too. So you can watch them on like YouTube if you want, or you can listen to them. But I would say the most important thing is after our conversations, get Habit Hot Sauce in your life. Thanks for saying join the revolution, raise that flag. Like, if you're not having those probiotics, oh man,
that's right. You're gonna be all jacked up
in your life.
And we pissed off at work.
Yeah, habithotsauce.com.
We hating in the comments and stuff. If any haters show up in the comments, we're just gonna send them Habit Hot Sauce, change their life forever. But thanks so much, man.
Yeah,
it's been a lot of
fun.
fun.
You too, man. It's been same.
We'll do it again soon. Again, everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Out of Home Insider Show. I'm Tim Rowe. This is Bud Torcom. We're signing off, and we'll see you guys real soon.